What's up, guys? I just literally wanted to come in and share something raw, real, very unplanned. But I just got done with a run, which I never run, if you know me. Only on rare occasions where I either have some like mental shit to like work through and it like helps me release that, or if I just kind of like want to. And today was a day that I just kind of wanted to. I wanted to I guess push myself to do something hard. Not that my workout wasn't hard enough or that I don't do a plethora of difficult things on a daily basis, but hard in the sense of holding myself dead accountable to something that I said I would do. Now, why I specifically wanted to share my perspective on this is for really anybody that has felt like they were on their shit and then fell off and then kind of spiraled from there. I personally had experienced this a few months ago after my competition season. Entering into my off season, I felt like I could no longer hold myself accountable to doing the things that I said I would do, or the things that seemingly became easy to me in regards to my health and fitness, my journey and my goals, like eating my macros on point and hitting my workouts, doing my cardio, those sorts of things. It seemed like it became seemingly impossible for me, and I felt very frustrated in this. So that's why I wanted to kind of share this perspective of how I'm feeling for you guys, maybe anybody that is a competitor planning to do a show or going through post-show, or somebody that maybe is just feeling like they've fallen off the bandwagon, so to speak. So in that state, when I would say I would do XYZ, and then day after day, I was not doing XYZ. However, previously, I knew I could do those things, but I no longer was doing them. It felt like I was a failure over and over and over. And I felt like it was pushing me to enter that fuck it zone. And it did numerous times. You can maybe relate this to your own life in an instance where you haven't eaten donuts. So let's say donuts is like your crutch, your food that you just love, right? It's the thing that you cave in every single time. Donuts is your food, right? You said you weren't going to eat donuts week after week after week, and next thing you know, you haven't eaten a donut in like 3 months, and you don't even want one anymore. And then you have a donut, and you're like, oh fuck, I said I wasn't going to have donuts anymore. So then you eat the whole box instead of just eating one. And then the next day, you do the same thing. So why I wanted to kind of like give you that perspective is that because it does not have to be that way. And when you start to feel that way and do these things, it does not mean you are a failure, and it does not mean you have to continually engage in that behavior. You have the ability every single day to change that. And I promise you, and I know that when you are in that, it feels impossible, but I promise you, by setting the small daily goals towards accomplishing, stepping away from those behaviors that are making you feel like a failure and stepping back into that zone of accountability and purpose and just integrity. That is really a big word for me. Integrity is doing the things that you said you were going to do. So basically, an easy way for yourself to kind of get out of that fuck it state, or to get back on the bandwagon, so to speak, is to maybe not set 16 different goals for yourself that you're going to go dead set hard on, full on with, okay? You're not going to run 10 miles tomorrow and eat a salad for lunch and no chocolate tomorrow or the next day or the rest of your life, and all of these big fucking things. Like, don't set all the goals yet if you're at that point of desperation and frustration where you're feeling like an utter failure. Because I promise you, the more big goals like that you're putting onto your plate, yeah, it's ambitious, yeah, it's something that's gonna push you, but it's also extremely defeating when you put those 16 goals on your plate and you can only hit, let's say, 2 of them. But if you were to think of it as you put maybe 1 or 2 big goals on your plate and you hit both of them, that feels extremely empowering because you don't have the other 14 goals that you failed on. Does this make sense? So when you are in that state of feeling like a failure, feeling like you've fallen off the bandwagon, and you're just grasping at anything that's going to make you feel like you're not a failure again, or that you can do this, or maybe if you're somebody that's even just starting, trying to live a healthier life, or whatever goal it is that you've set for yourself outside of health and fitness in your financial aspects or in your career, your relationships, blah, 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 you could use this same concept. So Doing something hard. This is something that I really think is important in setting a big goal for yourself that is hard, okay? And as much as you feel like a failure, as much as it's been really difficult for you to dial back into those things that you know you can do, or that you once did, or that you really want to do, choose one. Choose one thing that you're gonna do today that is really hard for you, and do it. Commit to it. So let's say, for example, you know what? You ate like shit yesterday, and the next day comes. Set your goal of drinking a gallon of water. That's it. Hold yourself accountable to that. Hold yourself accountable to, you know what, today I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm not going to jump on the treadmill and punish myself. I'm not going to only eat rice cakes and punish myself. Like, leave that shit at the door, because I promise you, you start stacking up too much negative shit like that, you're not going to be able to follow through, and you're going to feel worse about yourself. I swear to you, and it's a negative cycle to get into. So, like for me today, with what I just did was going running. So I like I said, I mean, I never run. I only run if I want to, or if I'm going through some shit. But today I just wanted to challenge myself to do something hard. So I was like, you know what? Instead of walking for my cardio, I'm just gonna run. And I said I'm gonna run for 3 songs. And I got going, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do 5 songs. That's just how I am. And let me tell you, the 4th and the 5th song, I think God was fucking with me, because I swear they were the longest songs of my entire life. But I didn't stop. Because that was my hard thing that I said I was going to do, and I held myself accountable to it. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys, is that perspective of jumping back on the bandwagon, or ways that you can make yourself not feel like a failure in a seemingly small way, is to set a difficult goal for yourself, doing something hard, and just setting maybe that same goal or any goal that is hard every single day, and working just towards one thing at a time. And then, you know what, as you progress and as you start to feel more confident in yourself and gaining more integrity on your journey and towards your goals, maybe you could stack another goal onto that. Maybe you could stack a 3rd or a 4th, whatever it is. I mean, at this point, you know, yeah, my challenging goal for myself was that running for 5 songs, like I said I was going to do, but that was my challenging goal. And at this point in my journey, I already did my lift. I'm already hitting my nutrition today. I'm already drinking my water. Like, this is kind of what I'm portraying with you guys. Like, over time, the hard goal, it looks different than what it used to. Hitting a lift consistently used to be my hard goal. Drinking my water consistently used to be my hard goal. Or like whatever it is, as you build on it, those things that used to be the hard goals become maybe easier goals, or things that are a little bit less of a struggle for you to do, a little bit less of a challenge to get you to do them. Not that necessarily when you're doing them it's difficult, because let me tell you, when I say I'm going to hit my macros and then the peanut butter is kind of staring at me, you know, that's really hard. But it's like, seriously. Or like when I say I'm going to do cardio and then the treadmill's looking at me like, do you really get on me like right now? Like, I don't think so. But then I do. But anyways, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, is like setting a big goal for yourself at a time, and then slowly but surely trying to stack on that. Not all at once, not putting a million big goals on your plate at one time, especially if you're somebody that's feeling like you've fallen off the bandwagon or cannot hold yourself accountable as of recently, feeling like a failure consistently in those aspects, kind of like what I was sharing when I first transitioned into my post-show journey. I felt like for some reason, I just hit my macros in my training for the past 9 months, but out of nowhere, I could not hit my macros anymore. And I felt like a complete failure. And a day after day, I would say, you know what, today you're going to hit your macros, today you're going to hit your macros, today you're going to hit macros. And I wouldn't. I couldn't. I literally felt like I couldn't. And what I would do in those instances, I would just say, fuck it, and go off the bandwagon, go off the handle. And it was not appropriate. That was not an appropriate response. And I know how frustrating that can feel. So whether you're a competitor or not, whether you're somebody that's just general population trying to live a healthy lifestyle and you feel like you've fallen off the bandwagon, these tips, I like, really just set one big goal for yourself at a time. Something realistic, something that you could do, something that you can measure. Maybe you write it in a note in your phone, whatever you want to do, but something that you know that you can work towards feasibly in that day, and then make it something buildable. Make it something that, you know what, if you did that today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, maybe it's going to become a little bit easier for you. maybe you can add a new challenging goal onto that. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and remind you that you can do hard things by continually doing and accomplishing that big challenging goal that you set for yourself day in, day out. You are building your confidence, you're building your integrity, and you're verifying to yourself that you are not a failure, or that when you do seemingly fail on your journey, you can always get back up, you can always try again. So whether, you set that big goal and you still fell short, it's okay. It's okay, and you'll know why, because you have tomorrow. You have tomorrow to try again. But I want you to try every single day to work as hard as you can towards that one goal, that seemingly small goal that you set for yourself, that over time they're going to become the easier goals. They're not going to be as difficult for you to or feel like you're pulling teeth to get it done. So that's what I wanted to share. Hope this was helpful. Leave a comment of your takeaways, or any feedback you guys have to share, any insight on maybe an experience that you can relate to on this. I'd love to hear from you guys, hear a little bit of your perspectives, and just takeaways that you guys have from this. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to eat some food because I'm really freaking hungry. And yeah, enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. XOXO.